Good morning, students. Am I audible? Yes. Okay, then we will begin with our new chapter today. So we are going to start with the fourth chapter. And this particular chapter is there, no, it carries more weightage, okay, from your exam point of view. As far as your exams are concerned, it's very important. And from this chapter, nothing is been deleted. Actually, you have seen that most of the portions here and there from few chapters they have reduced, but then from this chapter they have not reduced anything. So it's an important chapter and many basic things you are going to learn in this. Okay, so that is chemical bonding and molecular structure. Now, what do you mean by bonding? Chemical bonding means what? Now, bonding actually exists in our daily life also. No, we have a bond with our parents, we have a bond with our friends, with our siblings. Okay, so it's a force of attraction, just an attraction. Now, with our parents, because we are related to them through a blood relation is there. Okay, but with our friends, maybe they have helped us somewhere, or maybe because we admire them. Okay, so there is like a bonding exists between, it can be between anything, so that bond takes place because you are getting attracted by them. Also, that is a force of attraction which is existing between the people, so that is called as a normal bond. So when we are talking in terms of chemistry, okay, between what the force of attraction can exist. So force of attraction can exist between the atoms, it can exist between the ions. Okay, so between these species, whatever the force of attraction is been existing, okay, which hold them together, that particular bonding is called as chemical bonding. Okay, so chemical bonding is nothing but a force of attraction, okay, which holds these various constituent particles together in a particular species, means in a particular chemical bond. So that is called as chemical bond. You can write it down. So here you will see that atoms usually don't exist in a individual form apart from few atoms. Okay, only very few atoms are there. For example, you have noble gases. Only those noble gases are capable of existing freely. Okay, so they can have a free existence or independent existence. But other than the noble gases, you will see that most of the atoms are in the form of molecules. Okay, that means they are not capable of existing individually. They are not stable like that. Okay, so they can't exist individually, so that is the reason why they undergo this formation. Okay, they are able to form a bond. Now, which type of bond are they going to form and how are they going to form, that is what we are going to learn in this chapter. Okay, what type of bond formation and how these scientists have discovered that the bond formation is taking place between the atoms is been discussed in this particular chapter. Okay, so here the first theory which was given, okay, here you are going to learn is about Kossel and Lewis, who has given the approach how the bonding between the two atoms is taking place. Okay, so you have to study the first theory given by Lewis and Kossel, and they were able to explain successfully like how these two atoms combine together to form a molecule. So now what they say is, they compare these atoms are there, no, they compare these atoms with the noble gas. So these noble gases are like the heroes are there, no, like for example, for common people, we admire somebody, we get inspired by somebody, and we try to follow them. Okay, so here noble gases are like that. So noble gases, I can say, they are the heroes, and then other elements, they try to copy them, because noble gases found to be more stable, they are perfect, they don't react, okay, they are stable. So that is the reason why other elements want to copy them. So how will they copy these noble gases? Now if other elements are there, they don't have these particular configuration how the noble gases have. You have seen, no, how the noble gas configurations are. Helium, if you take the, you will find that there is only 2 electrons present in the outermost shell, whereas in the neon there are 8 electrons in the outermost shell. I'm talking about the outermost shell. So in the helium you will find there are 2 electrons, and then neon you will find there are 8 in the outermost shell. Again you see, as I'm going below, argon, you can see again there are 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Krypton also, outermost shell is 4, so 8. Xenon also we are having 8, and then radon also we are having 8. So that means since they are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell, okay, this Lewis and Kossel, they found that 8 electrons if an atom has in their outermost shell, that means they will be stable and they won't react. But what about the other elements? Other elements, if they want to react, so they will try to attain these noble gas configuration. They will try to attain these 8 electrons in their outermost shell. So how they can attain, if they, how they want to attain these 8 electronic configuration? Now for example, if you are talking about sodium now, sodium has 11 electrons. Okay, so it is 2, 8 and then 1. So what the sodium will try to do is, since they have 1 extra electron in the outermost shell, they will try to lose this electron and then try to attain the noble gas configuration, that is 8 in their outermost shell. So they try to lose the electron. But if you talk about now fluorine, fluorine atomic number is 9, 2 and then 7. So they have 7 electrons in their outermost shell. So what the fluorine will try to do is, they will try to gain electrons so that they can have 1 electron, they will take extra, so that they can have 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Okay, so what the other elements will try to do is, they will either try to lose the electron what they have to form a chemical bond, or they will try to gain an electron to attain this noble gas configuration. Okay, and this particular rule where the element should have 8 electrons in their outermost shell, this is also called as octet rule. Okay, because 8 is the electrons should be present, so it is also called as octa, stands for 8. Okay, but what if they have 4? Here we can understand, if they have 1, okay, losing will be easier, whereas if they have 7, gaining the electrons will be easier. But if they have 4 electrons in their outermost shell, like for example in the case of carbon, carbon has 2 and then 4 electrons in their outermost shell, then what the element will try to do is, they will try to share this electron. Okay, because for them losing is difficult, plus if they want to gain, gaining is also difficult, because this carbon won't be able to handle so many extra electrons. Okay, being a small atom, the effective nuclear charge you have studied, that will decrease, they can't hold so many electrons. So that is the reason losing also is difficult, because 4 electrons they can't lose and then have 2 electrons in their shell. Okay, that's not possible, so they prefer sharing. So how these elements will try to copy this noble gases, either by losing the electron or by gaining the electron, together they are trying to transfer this, okay, transfer the electron, or by sharing the electron, so that they can have 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Okay, so that is what was like explained by Lewis and Kossel, seeing that these elements try to copy the noble gases. Noble gas is found to be the stable one. They have 8 electrons, so that is the reason why they are not reacting. But if other elements have to react, then they will try to copy these elements. Okay, that is noble gas element. and then they will try to attain this 8 electrons in their outermost shell. But for helium, if they want to copy helium, okay, then it will be 2 electrons. Okay, this is one case which we need to remember, because helium has only 2 electrons. So there are certain elements which will try to have 2 electrons also in their outermost shell. Either it is 2 diplet or it can be 8. Okay, this comes, they have explained for majority having 8 electron, but then diplet is also a configuration where elements try to copy them also. Okay, so you can write it down now. Kossel and Lewis approach to chemical bonding. So what they suggested is that noble gases are the stable elements, but atoms of other element will try to copy this electronic configuration by attaining the octet structure. Yes, next you can write down about octet rule. Octet rule, I told you just now that atoms, if they want to combine, if they want to form a chemical bond, they transfer these electron. Transferring means here they have given transfer. That means they are either trying to lose an electron or they are trying to gain electron. Okay. Or if that too is not possible, they will prefer sharing the valence electron so that they can have octet electrons in their valence shell. Yes, I've gone back. Did you all finish this now? Lewis approach. Yes, okay. Now write down the octet rule. Okay. Now here I will give you few hints. Remember, if there is the number of valence electron, if there is 1, 2 and then 3 valence electron, okay, 1, 2 and then 3, what the atom tries to do is they will try to lose, in this case, they will try to lose the electron. Okay. If there is 1, 2 means we have to remember no, when they will try to lose and when they will try to gain. So remember that they always prefer shortcut. Like even we people prefer shortcut. So here also, if 1, 2, 3 electrons are there in their valence shell, then they can lose this easy and then go back no, to the octet electronic configuration. Okay, like for example, if the configuration is like this, 2, 8 and then 1, leave this, throw this out and then become stable. Okay, so they are just going to give that electron very easily. Even 2, 8 and then 2 if they have. Okay, because if otherwise, if they don't give, what is one more possibility they have is they have to take 7 electrons extra and then they can become 8. Okay, like in their outermost shell, 2, 8 and then 1 electron if it is present. One possibility is that they have to give this electron and attain this configuration of 2 and 8. Or one more possibility for them is that they have to take 7 more electrons and get converted to 288 configuration. Okay, this is one possibility, or one possibility is having this. So which is easy for them? Losing 1 electron will be easier instead of taking 7 more electrons, okay, which will be difficult for that particular atom to hold as well. So that is the reason why they prefer the shortcut of losing an electron. Here also 1, 2, 2, 8 and then 2 electrons if they have, again they prefer losing that electron. Even 3 if they have, again losing is easier, okay, because they have 1, 2, 3 electrons that can be lost easily and then they can have stable electronic configuration of 2 and then 8. So remember, if 1, 2, 3 electrons are there, they will lose those electrons. Now 4 becomes like it's in between, no? In between the 8 you have 4. So if they have 4 electrons, they always prefer sharing that electron. They will share that electron. sharing of the electrons will take place. But if the electron number is 5, 6 and then 7, okay, if the number of electrons are 5, 6 and 7 in their outermost shell, like if they are having 2, 8 and then 5 configuration, losing this 5 is difficult. Okay, instead of that they can take 3 more electrons, no, and then get converted to a stable electronic configuration. So that is the reason why if the 5 electrons are there in their outermost shell, shortcut for them is to take that 3 electrons and get converted to a stable electronic configuration of 2, 8 and then 8. Okay, so remember, if 5, 6, 7 electrons are there, they will prefer gaining the electron. Okay, so they will gain the electron. This you write somewhere aside, okay, so that you can remember. When the atom can take the electron, give the electron and share the electron. So by doing this, they attain the 8 electrons, octet electrons in their valence shell. So that is called as octet rule. Yes, over. Shall we proceed, students? Yes, okay. Next is you have Lewis symbol, also called as Lewis dot structure. Okay, Lewis dot structure. So what does Lewis say is, don't write this down, I will tell you when to copy it. Okay, so just listen first. Lewis symbol or Lewis dot structure, what he said is, whatever electrons are present in your valence shell, okay, you know what are valence electron? Valence electrons are the electrons which are present in the outermost shell. Okay, so here these electrons are present in the outermost shell. Whatever electrons are present, those electrons are called as valence electron, and only valence electrons are the one which take part in the chemical reaction. Okay, they will participate in the chemical bonding because they are present in the outermost shell. So it's easy to lose and gain the electron in the outermost shell. So only they will be participating in the chemical reaction. The electrons which are present inside, since they are inside the core and they have high effective nuclear charge, they are not participating in the chemical reaction. Okay, so valence electrons, remember, the electrons which are present in the outermost shell, they are the one which will participate in the chemical reaction. Okay, chemical reaction will happen only by the valence electrons. So he says that whatever electrons are present in the outermost shell, they should be written in the form of dot. Okay, valence electrons are represented as dot. So that is called as Lewis dot structure, surrounding the symbol of the element. For example, if I have lithium now, lithium, you know, atomic number is 3 and electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s1. So in this case, lithium case, the number of electrons which are present in the outermost shell is only 1. This is the last shell. Don't talk about the inner one. Inside ones don't participate, I told you. Only the outside electrons are participating in the chemical reaction. So here only one electron is present. So what we have to do is we have to write the symbol of that element, and then these electrons in the outermost shell you have to write as a dot. One single dot has to be written. Okay. So this is the Lewis representation, Lewis dot structure of representing the valence electron surrounding the symbol of the element. Okay. So you can write down. Now you write down. Yes. Before that, you can write what is valence electron. Valence electrons are the electrons which are present in the outermost shell. And during the formation of the molecule, you will see only those electrons will be participating in the reaction. If you want valence electrons, somewhere you write, okay. I know you might be knowing about this. If you know, it's well and good. In case if you have forgotten, valence electrons are the electrons outermost shell. Valence electrons are the electrons present in the outermost shell, or valence shell also you can call them, okay. And in this Lewis symbol, what we try to do is we just try to represent these valence electrons surrounding the symbol of the atom in the form of a dot. So I'll take few example. Here I will write only lithium I gave you that time. So I will write it that once again here. Lithium is 3. So 1s2, 2s1. Okay, I am underlining this because only this is the valence shell, and in that valence shell only one electron is present. So you are going to write lithium as one single dot. And if it is beryllium, beryllium you see it is written as 1s2, 2s2. Two electrons are there. So you can put two electrons in the outermost shell. Boron is 5. So it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So how many electrons are present in the outermost shell? This becomes the outermost shell. Don't take the orbital, students. Don't get confused between the orbital and the shell. So here the total number of electrons present in the outermost shell is 3, okay, not 1. Don't take only this and write 1. Okay, so boron, 3 electrons are there. So you can put them at a separate distance, okay. Put them far, 1, 2 and then 3. Now like this only I want you to write for around 10 elements. Till atomic number 10 you write down the electron dot structure. If you have finished writing this, write down the electron dot structure for the remaining elements. Okay, 5 more are there. After boron you have carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and then neon. should be represented in the form of a dot. Okay, so I will take carbon as the example here. Carbon atomic number is 6. So when you write electronic configuration, it will be 1s2, 2s2, and then 2p2. Correct? No, 6 it is. So how many electrons are present in the outermost shell? You see, the number of electrons which are present in the outermost shell. Shell means the whole second shell will come. Okay, this is the first shell and here you have a second shell. So the number of electrons present is only 4. So you will write the symbol of that element. Carbon you write in the center. 4 electrons are there. So put 4 electrons surrounding the element. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and then 4. Okay. So this is the representation for carbon. So if I have to show the next one, see nitrogen. Nitrogen atomic number is 7. So 7 is 1s2, then you have 2s2, and then we have 2p3. Okay, so number of electrons are 5 here. So then you will write nitrogen, 5 electrons are there. No, so you put 1, 2, 3 and then 4 you put like this. Fifth one you put over here on this side. Okay, so this is one way of representing for nitrogen. Oxygen is 8. 8 will be 1s2, 2s2 and then 2p4. So here how many are there? 6 are there. So write oxygen and then you write 1, 2. So I'll take like this. 3, 4 and then 5 and then 6. Okay, you can put it together also and keep this vacant. That is also fine. Then fluorine, if you have, fluorine is mine, no? So 1s2, you can start writing, okay? 1s2, 2s2, 2p and then 5. So fluorine, total 7 electrons are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and then 1 will be remaining. So 7. Neon is 10. So you see 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 6. So total number of electrons present in the outermost shell are 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and then 7, 8 electrons. Clear now? Everyone understood how to write the electronic configuration? Lewis dot electronic configuration. Take the element and whatever electrons are present in the outermost shell, you have to represent that in the form of a dot. Okay, now what is the significance of this? Why we are writing these electron dot structure and what will be the use of it? Okay, so when you see this atom, easily you will be able to tell what are the valence electron. Okay, when this electronic configurations are written like this, one thing what you will be able to understand is you will understand what are the valence electrons. Okay, and using this valence electron, you can even calculate the valency. You know what is valency? Valency is the combining capacity of an element, correct? No, so combining capacity of an element is called as valency. So here by seeing this you can understand what will be the valency of that particular element. Now valency depends on the valence electron. You can use the valence electron to calculate the valency. Now in that case of lithium had only one, no? So whatever valence electron there, that itself is a valency. Okay, so here one electron was present. So what they will try to do is combining capacity for them is only 1 because they can lose only this one electron. Okay, so valency becomes 1 here. Then beryllium case there were 2 dots we have written. So beryllium can lose 2 electrons. Okay, so that means their valency is also 2. Now further as you are going, now carbon valency is 4 because they can share. No, 4 means they have to share. Okay, so they will share 4 electrons. What about nitrogen? Is the valency same as the number of valence electron in this case? The number of electrons present over here is 5. Valence electrons are 5, students. See, valence electrons are 5. But valency is how many electrons are they going to use? Okay, for combining. So yeah, valency is going to be 3. So how did we decide that valency is 3? by seeing the number of valence electron, that is 5, and they require 3 electrons. So it will be like total 8 minus the 3 electrons. Okay, so that will decide the valency. So in some case you can see the number of valence electrons and decide. So till 4 you can decide. If the number of valence electrons are 4, till 4 you can decide, that itself will be the valency. But when they are increasing to a higher number, it's above 5, then you have to do 8 minus the number of valence electron. That will give you the valency. Okay. So in your textbook, valency is given as group valence. Okay. So you should remember that group valence itself is the valency. Okay. So here, these are the significance of the valency. So what is the valency of oxygen? Valency symbol is it? Valency symbol, you have to write the charge on that. Plus and minus, yeah, that you have to see when they are losing and when they are gaining. Okay. If they are losing, then you will put a plus charge, correct? No? If they have gained the electron, then you will put a minus charge. Like for example, if they tell you now valency, nitrogen has to take 3 electrons. No? So what we write as N3 minus. But I will tell you, okay, how to write the Lewis structure for this, I will tell you. But then the charge will become 3 minus. This is not the Lewis structure. I will tell you how to write the Lewis structure for that. Oxygen we write as O minus. No, O2 minus we write. Why? Because they will receive 2 electrons to become stable. They have 6 electrons in their outermost shell, but then to attain that octet configuration, they have to receive 2 more electrons. So usually you might have seen oxide is written as O2 minus. Nitride is written as N3 minus. Fluorine, they have 7 electrons in their outermost shell, but they need 1 more electron to become stable. So we write them as F minus. Okay. Neon, not required. So there is no valency. There is no charge. So it's a 0. Okay. So we don't show that 0 on them because not required. They don't take electron, neither they give the electron. Okay. Because of their stable electronic configuration. So these are the charges on them. Okay. And that itself is a valency. So how to write Lewis structure for that charged ones, I will tell you. Okay. So I hope this is followed. Significance of the Lewis structure, what I told you is that by seeing the number of dots, you can identify how many valence electrons are present. And that valence electrons will help you to calculate the group valence. Here they are saying group valence means they will help you to calculate the valency. Okay. So they help you to calculate the valency. In the bracket, you can write valency. And then how to calculate that valency? If the number of electrons are 1, 2, 3, and then 4, okay, number of electron dots are 4, that itself is the valency. But when the number of electrons are 5, 6, 7, and then 8 also, then you can, like 8 you will not have, but 8 minus 8, it will be 0. Okay, it will be understood. So if it is higher, what you have to do is to calculate the valency, 8 minus the number of valence electrons you have to do. So then you will come to know it is 3. 8 minus 6, if you do, you will get to know that 2 electrons they have to receive. Like that only 8 minus 7. Okay. So these are the significance of Lewis symbol. Write down, you can write the significance.